Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on webinar Understanding JMeter and Performance Testing for Your Organization. Today, our speakers will be Ratnaji Gida, who is a Senior Quality Analyst at Microsoft Systems. Today, our agenda will cover the Miracle story of the basic overview of the company and what is performance testing, and then we'll speak about Apache JMeter roadmap, the configuration that has to be done for JMeter, the text plan execution, and the best practices that have to be done for JMeter. At the last, we'll have a Q&A session where you can either put the question and answer in the question and answers panel on the right side or raise your hand at the audience panel. Coming to Miracle, Miracle is a company that was founded in 1994. We are headquartered in Detroit, Michigan. We have about more than 85 customers in the 14,000 companies. We located in 12 of the global locations around the world. We have about 2,000 employees working for us around the globe. When it comes to the industry verticals, we work from manufacturing and automotive, energy and utilities, logistics and supply chain, healthcare and pharmacy, retail, and also banking and insurance. When it comes to the Miracle Expertise, we have global development centers with one of the major offshore development centers back in India. We have strong partner network ranging from IBM and all the big challenges in the IT industry. We have deep industry understanding and also customized and industry proven methodologies that we brought in. We also have accelerators frameworks that we have built in-house at Miracle. When it comes to the strategic partnerships, just like I said, we have a huge run with IBM, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, XPay, Amazon, Apache, Pinivas, and Rally and HP for testing as well. With that, I'll now hand it over to Ratnaji, who will be speaking about performance testing. Ratnaji, it's all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva. And hi, good evening to one and all. My name is Ratnaji. I'm working as a senior QA analyst in Miracle Software Systems. As you know, this webinar is all about JMeter and how it is useful for performance testing. So I would like to share my knowledge on JMeter. Yeah, let me walk through our presentation. Coming to the world of performance testing. Yeah, what is the performance testing? Performance testing is a non-functional testing, and it is a type to determine the system to measure, validate, or verify the quality attributes of the system like responsiveness and stability under particular workload. So particular different load conditions. These attributes we should find in different load conditions. The system is tested under mixture of load conditions and check the time required responding by the system under different workloads to ensure that application is working as expected under variety of loads and conditions. The main goal of the performance testing is not only to find the bugs in the system, but also eliminate the performance of bottlenecks from the system. So coming to the types of performance testing, we have different types like load or capacity testing, volume testing, endurance or soak testing, stress testing, and spike testing. Next slide. Load or capacity testing. Coming to the load testing, it is meant to test the system by constantly and steadily increasing the load on the system. That means it reaches the we should test the time it reaches the threshold limit. The primary goal of load testing is to define the maximum amount of work system which can handle without significant performance of degradation. Load testing is coming to under non-functional testing, and load test is type to understand the behavior of the system under specific expected load. That means we should observe the behavior of the application both normal and peak conditions, and it helps to identify the maximum operating capacity of your applications and as well as bottlenecks. So through the to identify these bottlenecks, we can eliminate in our performance testing these bottlenecks like CPU utilization, memory usage, or disk usage, etc. And coming to the example of load testing, we have different types of examples. Like if you want to transaction like email transactions, like sending email or deleting email or reading email, like this we have different types of transactions by using different by placing different users like 1,000 users or 10,000 users like this, whatever you have the goal your application is going to achieve, and downloading the series of large files from the internet. So this kind of testing will come under load or capacity testing. Coming to the load testing process, what are the steps we have to follow while doing the load testing? So first of all, we have to identify the key scenarios in our applications, and then we should calculate and workload for that pages, and identify the metrics according to the workload and create the test cases and simulate the load. That means you should create your users, how many users you want to log in for that page or for a particular transaction, and analyze the result. So this process should be repetitively done. Next slide. Coming to the stress testing, every system has a capacity limit. When the load goes beyond the limit, the application starts responding very slowly and even produce errors. The purpose of the stress test is to find the capacity limit of the system. We can verify at which point of the system that degrades or failures, and usually done by increasing user load in the system. Under stress testing, various activities to overload the existing resources with excess jobs are carried out, an attempt to break the system or application down. The main goal of the stress testing is to analyze the post-crash reports to define the behavior of the application after failure. Next. Load testing tools. Coming to the load testing tools, in present market we are having different load testing tools which are available for doing load or capacity testing or stress testing. In that, JMeter, we are going to using JMeter. So JMeter is which is coming from Apache Jakarta, and it is also open source, and it is developed on the Java. Next one, BlazeMeter. BlazeMeter is coming from BlazeMeter Limited, and it is compatible for the JMeter self-service and load testing platform for websites. And another important one is Solsta, which is also used for mobile testing and web applications for free and licensed versions available in this. And like this, we have different tools like IBM Rational Performance Tester, which is coming from IBM, Load Runner HP tool, which is also another popular tool, and Visual Studio Unlimited Editions, Microsoft. Like this, we have different load testing tools in the market, which is suitable for our organization or company. Coming to the Apache JMeter roadmap. Yeah, in this we are going to introduce about JMeter and what are the advantages of using JMeter in performance testing. Coming to the what is JMeter. JMeter is founded by Stefano Mojochi, which is used for testing Apache JSer, and yeah, it is JMeter is an open source testing software, and it is used for 100% pure Java application for load and performance testing, and it is designed to cover the categories tests like load, functional, and performance regressions, etc. Originally, it is developed for web applications for our web FTP applications initial stage. Nowadays, it is using for different testing purposes like database or protocol testing or server testing, etc. And why should we use JMeter? What is the need of using JMeter in performance testing as a performance testing tool? Because it is a powerful testing tool with enormous capabilities. Next. Coming to the advantages of JMeter, we have lots of advantages in JMeter, like it is an open source. We can write our own code if you want, and it is friendly GUI because it is developed on the Java Sphinx. So it is very easy to navigate to the user for different menus, and it is platform independent. Yeah, which is an important point, and because it can be used anywhere in any system or any environment like Linux, Unix, or Windows, because of it is developed on the Java application. Coming to the fully multi-threading, yeah, it is also important feature for framework allows to concurrent sampling by many threads and stimulates sampling of different functions by separate thread groups. That means we can create multiple thread groups in the single test plan, and we can execute a different tasks with this multi-threading feature. And coming to the visualize the test results, which is also we are having different visualization results in the JMeter, and it is easy understanding to how your application is working under particular conditions of load. And coming to easy installation, yes, JMeter is very easy installation. You are going to see in the next slide. And coming to highly extensible, yes, there are several ways to extend JMeter and add functionality. JMeter is designed to make this is very easy. And unlimited testing capabilities. Yes, we have JMeter is having different testing capabilities like database testing or web services testing and Java testing, and we have different capabilities. Coming to the support multiple protocol, which is another important advantage of JMeter, like HTTP, TCP, FTP, and web applications we can test through this supporting multiple protocols. Coming to the next slide, JMeter configuration. Yes, in these slides we are going to talk about how to configure and how to install the JMeter. Software requirements for installing the JMeter. We should have Java for installing the JMeter, and we should download JMeter. You can download JMeter from the given link, and Eclipse. Yes, if you need any coding or you should create any jar files, you can use Eclipse. Coming to the configuration or installation, yes, you should have installed Java in your systems and download the JMeter from the given link, and it is very easy. It is having if you go to that in the given link in the Apache JMeter link, you have like Apache JMeter version, and you can download those files which you want, like a zip or target. And yes, if you download that zip file and extract it, so you should have the hierarchy structure which we shown in the figure. Like we should have bin folder and docs folder, and we have images and lib and another etc. In bin folder we should have different files like which will useful for starting your JMeter in GUI, like batch files or shell scripting files, which is useful for JMeter to run in GUI mode. And coming to the lib folder, contains the requirement of jar files in the JMeter. That means what are the jar files you need, we should keep in this lib folder. And coming to the extension folder, contains core jar files for JMeter for protocols like JUnit, Java, or different protocols extension files you can see in this lib folder. Coming to the next slide. Yes, elements of JMeter. The different part of components of JMeter is called element, which is correlated with each of other, but it is used, but each of them is different purpose. And before start working with this JMeter, you should know all these elements clearly. And elements of JMeter will detail descriptions like thread group. Why should we use thread group? Thread group elements are the beginning point of your test plan. As the name suggests, the thread group elements control the number of threads JMeter will bring during the test. That means where you can configure the users in the thread group itself. And coming to the under thread group, we have different elements or modules like samplers, logical controllers, listeners, configuration elements, assertions, timers, and processors. You all are going to know about all these slides, all these modules in the coming slides. Next one, samplers. Yes, samplers allows JMeter to send specific request to the server. That means how thread group will know which type of request you are sending to the server. Based on this sampler, we should configure which request you want, like HTTP request or FTP request or JDBC or SMTP or TCP samplers. Like we should configure according to your request and in the sampler. Next, configuration elements. Yes, I allow you to create default and variable to use by samplers. They are used to add modify request made by samplers. That means you should configure all your common elements in the configuration elements whenever you required for whole test plan or test configuration. Coming to the configuration elements, yes, you have CSV dataset configuration and the HTTP cookies manager, login configuration elements, HTTP request default and FTP request default. That means you should have all the CSV and HTTP cookies manager wherever you want for dynamic requests. Coming to the next slide, yes, listeners. Listeners are one of the important feature in the JMeter, which will show like we have different listeners like graph, table, and summary report, tree, and log files, which will show very clearly the what is the stress and what timing report and everything very clear in these detailed reports using JMeter listeners. Next one, logical controllers, which are useful to decide our order of processing of sampler in the thread. It is offer mechanism like to control the flow of the thread group. That means you can control the order of processing of samplers in the thread by using this logical controller. You can use the recording controller for record and playback, and loop controllers for control your thread groups like if or while or do while conditions. Coming to the next. Yeah, this is the sample test run which we discussed in the previous slides. Like if you see, we have only one test plan by default, that is test plan, and you can give your own name like whatever you want, and you should create one thread group, and you can see in the thread in the diagram or picture. You should give your own names in the thread group name, and we can give number of thread users like 10 users or 100 or 10,000 users. You can create your own number of users, and you can give the ramp up period of period between the thread groups like 10 seconds or 5 seconds like this, and you can use loop count which will useful to request to repeat the number of times, or 1 time, 2 times, or 5 times, etc. like this. And if you see this HTTP cookies manager or configuration manager or control managers are coming under configuration element, which we discussed earlier in the previous slide. And coming to the logical controllers, I already discussed about a recording controller in the comes under logical controller. And yes, we have assertions in JMeter which will useful for finding response text in the given response. That means you can find your response in the assertion by using the assertion field. You can check that one. And coming to the view results tree, yes, we have discussed about listeners, which will useful for identify your performance testing and what is the capacity or load testing, which will identify the load. Coming to how to analyze the reports in JMeter. Yes, we are earlierly in the previous slides we discussed about different reports like a tree, table, or graph. In this we have graph results where you can see, you are able to see like green, blue, and red color lines which are showing. The red color is showing that deviation part of your web application or software, and green color is showing the throughput, which is very important to our evaluate our web application. And like this we should aware of all these performance testing with different colors, and you can verify like black, blue, red, green, and throughput rate represent number of requests per minute per server handled. So these type of detailed description we can see in the graph results. Coming to the view results tree, it is also like it is having like three tabs like a simple request and sample request and request tab and response data. So now you are seeing the response data tab, which is showing the HTML report. That means you can see reports in different way like XML format or text format, whatever the format you want, you can see in different formats, and you can create JTL files by using this sampler listeners. Coming to the how can I enhance JMeter? Yes, we already discussed in the advantages of JMeter. We have extensible JMeter by using JMeter plugin and JMeter add-ons and JMeter services, which is third-party services for cloud-based JMeter. JMeter plugin, we can extend JMeter functionality by creating your own codes in different purpose like JUnit or Java, and for any creating any your own samplers, you can create by using this JMeter plugin advantage. Coming to the Apache JMeter best practice, yes, these are the best practices we should follow when you are going to deal with the JMeter. We should use very limited configuration like listeners, because it is taking much time when you are using more listeners, and use JDL file name for storage of log files, and do not more listeners to your JMeter in test plan, and monitor compound prompt of JMeter during non-GI mode testing. Yeah, that's it. Any questions and answers?
Thanks, Achandi. If anyone do have any question, please you raise your hand on the right side box or put your questions on the question and answers panel. I have a question from Raviteja Varnasi. He says, does JMeter gives valid response time?
Yes, it is giving a valid response time. If it is in particular like 300 users like that. If you want more distribution conditions, then we should go for remote distribution testing like that in the JMeter.
Okay. I have a question from Sunita. As mentioned earlier, JMeter is 100% for Java-based application. Can this be used to test web applications designed using HTML and AngularJS as a front-end technologies?
Actually, one point I should tell, JMeter is not like a HTML page, or it is not going to work as like a browser. That means whatever the browser is doing, it is JMeter cannot do that one. Like it is not run HTML scripts in the web browser. It just navigates that for links, and it shows the result. It is not going to show how the browser is doing.
Okay. I hope that answered Cynthia's question.
Yeah.
So Ravi has a scenario. He's saying for a home page, I got 4 seconds in browser, but JMeter gives me 12 seconds.
That is based on our internet access or bandwidth of. Based on that, we should verify that one, because even though you have 4 seconds, and see what are the configurations they are using in the JMeter. This one,
okay.
These we should configure.
I have a question from Richard Elson. How many users can you get on one JMeter host with? How many memory needs to be allocated for the JVM? Subtitle: old 32-bit JVMs were limited. We did a command line levels to get more users. Would that be possible?
Yes, you can run JMeter through command line also, and but it is the best practice if you use 300 users per engine in the JMeter. If you want to more testing, then you should go for distribution testing like remote testing.
Okay, I think we answered him. So I have a question from Samparai. What are the standard listener graphs that should be used during the load testing using JMeter?
That we can discuss in the next webinar. I mean, we should have. We are planning to give the how to extend the JMeters and all these things in the next webinar. So
sure.
we can.
So Sampa, you will be getting a detailed question answers, and we can discuss it offline on a individual demonstration.
Yes.
And I have a question again from Richard. He says the largest load test I have done is 20,000 with JMeter 5 servers and 4 with command line level, 1 with GUI.
Okay,
Also,
what is
which is the best performance tool in the market and why?
yeah, if you are going for limited thread users like 300 users per engine, we can best one is the JMeter because it is going to supporting multiple protocols and different web applications, and we have testing capabilities, and you can use anywhere in the any environment. So JMeter is the best one for using performance testing tool. And if you have like required configurations in the like CPU or whatever the things, memory and internet, and you if you have those things, then you can use the JMeter is the best one for performance testing.
Okay, hope we have an answer. I have a question from Shilpa. So she says in a table view listener, the first record response is always high as compared to other thread users. Is that true?
Sorry.
In table view listener, the first record response is always high as compared to other thread users. Is that true?
No, no, it is not true because it is based on volume of that application. If it is having a large number of volume, it will take more time.
Okay. I have a question again from Durga Sunita. Does JMeter have any limit on the number of virtual users, like 100 virtual users as open source, or beyond 100 virtual licenses? Is it licensed?
Yeah, it is it is not having any limited users, but if you want exact testing, like we should use maximum 300 users per engine, and if you go for license, we license is for giving more services for from Apache JMeter Apache.
Okay, I hope we have answered her question as well. I have a question from Emil. He says, can we use JMeter for OBIEE reports?
OBIEE reports.
Yeah, the web reports.
Oh, we don't know this question.
Okay. So Emil, we'll contact you offline to get this question answered. I have a question again from Richard. He says the first transaction being high is likely your visibility. Initial handshake takes time and the freshly, okay, he's trying to answer the question. Okay. And freshly resetted system has no caching. So the system needs to be warmed up. Okay. Thank you, Richard, for answer. I think I have answered all the questions. If anyone do have any questions, please do raise your hands. I can unmute you and you can ask your question. Richard, can I unmute you? Do you want to ask the question? Let me know.
Thank you.
I have Richard and Ravi Teja's hands up. I have a question from Prashant. Can you share the presentations with us? Definitely, Prashant. This webinar is going to be on-demand webinar in a couple of days on the website, and you can log on to www.medicalsoft.com/libraries and search for on-demand on Q&A, and you'll be able to see the presentation. I have a comment from Amiel saying that looking forward for webinars. Definitely that would possible. Please be logged on to www.medicalsoft.com/webinars for any upcoming webinars. And we are very happy to know that you're interested in our webinars. I think I have answered all our questions. If anyone has any question, please raise your hand on the right side box or put your question on the question answer panel. Okay, I think we are all set. So for any more questions on this, please feel free to shoot an email out to marketing@microsoft.com. It's marketing@miracle.com, and or just put your request on the contact form of our website, which is at microsoft.com/contact. Thank you for joining us webinar. To tweet us, you can tweet us at team_MSS. You can watch our YouTube channel. There is a new video that we uploaded recently. You can watch it at youtube.com/miracle4565. Also like our Facebook page to get all the updates at fb.com/miracle4565. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. Have a great day.